I should turn the light on. Looks weird. All right. Camera looks better now. All right. Yeah, this is my vlog. You can see I don't make my bed. There's some clothes laying around. Looks unkept. There's a blanket near the windowsill somehow. There's some sort of closet door open. And yeah, there you have it. And walls are blank. There's no art. I will be using the nicotine products, not to advertise, but just for my own sake. I feel it freezes the frontal lobes or cortex. Um, and it sort of lets me just resonate with a thought instead of moving on to the next one. And I already have a lot of thoughts, just like per second, I guess. In a given time, I probably think of more scenarios than anybody I ever met. And it's not always like that though, because there's been times where I'm calmer and more focused and goal oriented and not fragmented. However, I guess not that way right now. Yeah, fragmented. Yeah, I am. I'm broken. Um, and it's something to do with me. It's not my family. It's nothing, nobody I ever met. Um, I sort of seem to be causing chaos in a systematic way to where um, it's not like physical violence. But no, it's not chaos. Then no, that doesn't make any sense. But no, just I apologize. That didn't make much sense. Babe, calm down, huh? I don't like to commit to anything I say because, especially in social situations, because then I overthink that promise or um, that lead on I give somebody. I constantly think on it to the point that I become sort of fed up with the ideology of it and I try to get rid of it. One way or another, I try to get rid of it. So I don't like to make promises, so I won't say whether I will or I will not make more videos like this. But if you have the patience level required to watch any of my past videos, you'll notice that I do promise every time that, oh, I'm just going to start doing this forever now. And how has it ended? It has ended in me procrastinating it so much because, of course, I want to top myself. I want it to be like a climbing, a higher plateau every time. That's what everybody wants. However, that's not reality. It's not possible. If somebody were to just keep climbing up, there'd be nowhere to relate to them. If nobody has any flaws, nobody can just pick on them to really get a good feel of them. Um, yeah, we need our flaws. It makes us relatable. Um, I guess I live in such an imaginary world that just knowing that in the future people could view this video, and I suppose there could be lots of viewers, but right now there's nobody here. Yet I still feel sort of like a responsibility for if there were a lot of people viewing, because it's a pretty major platform, YouTube. I don't know, one way or another. Maybe it's sort of like final what's on here. It's YouTube. It's like you said it, and you said it on YouTube. Things definitely have a way of like finality on here, I guess. And I will be using HEB Cola because I love everyone. And you see, it's not so much a coexistence thing for me. For me, it's sort of like being the basis. Um, so a parent has a child, right? And the kid says, "Hey, I didn't choose to be born." And the parent sort of, gets a little upset and overlooks it later on, but does get upset because that question rings in them. It's like, damn, they can always use that against me. Um, but it all comes down to like the ultimate source, like sort of like God, God, God. Um, what is God's perspective in that? He made people, and people are like, well, I didn't choose to be born. Maybe God is just so powerful that he will be able to eventually or offset that in such a way that people will think that, well, that was a useless thing to think about. Um, I silenced my phone. Yeah, there's something about making promises that holds you to a standard you're not ready for, especially in social situations, I believe. And especially for me, I'm very sensitive, I'm very emotional. Um, I am careful, however much I can be, but I have had mistakes in the past. I've made grave errors in the past. I am a human being. There's nothing out of the ordinary about me, really. Um, I'm not any more special than the next person. Well, I wish I were, Not really, because again, that's not grounding, it's alienating. So ultimately, um, it's like you get to just be outside of the circle, not a part of it. Even if the circle does allow you to have power over them, if they still say don't directly become a part of the circle, that's still alienating, right? Um, Sort of what happens to rich people, I suppose. You get to oversee the systems or groups of people. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking negatively. Yeah, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I don't have anything to my name. Very broke. But I also feel that I'm meant to sort of survive in these times as a broke person, as still being dependable, as still somebody full of hope and faith um, in the future that it will get better, it will get good. We need to have that. We need to have that. If ultimately, I think everyone that succeeds does have that vision, or else they wouldn't be able to keep going the way they do, because to be successful sort of requires persistence. If we say somebody gets a lot of money or some sort of prized possession really quick, we say it's luck or they got lucky. We don't contribute it to success unless it's something that requires consistency. And that rings a bell in my head that what am I consistent about? Well, the only thing I am consistent about is um, well, like worldly matters, I guess, like keeping up with my wife. She comes first and foremost. But like metaphysical and everything, consciousness, philosophy, and all that, thinking abstract, bigger ideas. I think about God a lot. I do. It's alienating. Um, but this world sort of like has a toll you have to pay in order to present your story or present what you're going through. There's sort of like a bargain minimum that you have to provide. And that's your hard work, that's your consistency, that's your effort, I believe. And it should pan out, and it does. But we always were greedy, we want more. When is enough? And I guess that holds me back to a large extent. How much will be too much? If somebody says to me, hey, I believe that you created life, that though you may emanate no powers, nothing supernatural about you, but the claims you make over time do resemble a pattern that you truly do believe in some sort of grand divine identity. Um, so, like, here's, like, I don't know, like $10 million. Well, like, if I'm God, first of all, I would need to like feed all the poor people like ASAP. How would I have anything left for myself? So, so there's no way to really like give somebody money because they're God. There's no way to leverage God in that. material sense. You can talk about it. You can build relationships. You can help people get, you know, a healthier track on life. You can do all those things, but you cannot just simply show up, say, "I'm God, pay me," without making the evil claim of worship me. You know, because like a human face being worshipped, that's not in Islam. That's not real. Excuse me. I often think that this life is a grand test, not just like what I can accomplish necessarily in life. I've never had to feel like I haven't accomplished much in life. I used to get that feeling earlier on in life, but now that I take a medicine, which is in a very low dose of anti-psych, um, I'm able to really like dig into my memories and clarify what they mean to me, and I'm able to like relate to other people better. And what I'm realizing is that no, I don't think I want to prove anything to the world. Um, though, yeah, I do want to prove, yeah, my presence, that God is great. Uh, um, that I love my wife, I cherish her. Uh, though I'm the type, I guess, I'm so depressed maybe because I'm not around my wife, or my wife isn't around me, rather. That, that, uh, I'm blanking out. Too much self listen, I guess. Not enough facts going on. Let's take a vape hit to calm down. Very good flavor, by the way. Yeah, it's great. But as you can see, I even mentioned it in the beginning that I'll be vaping, and in like 18 minutes stream now, I've hit the vape maybe two, three times. So you can, so clearly there's like an alternative personality I have when I'm being social. Whether it's I want to impress people or not bog them down or be unnecessarily negative, there is an alternative persona that sort of triggers on when I'm on a camera. I know I'm being recorded or something because, of course, I have to also set an example for everyone, right? This is, oh man, I fully feel like I'm God. Yeah, that's great. But you know, you can't pay me for that because then it just goes to like hungry people and they'll eventually want to do bad with that money because they're like, oh, free money. Yeah. Well. So it's like, yeah, your consciousness doesn't stay intact if you don't work for it. It doesn't. There's no, you don't have a memory of earning that money. If you don't have a memory of earning that money, then that money is free money and it's subject to less of your thought process because you have less memory of it. You can think less on it. You can process it less deeper. There's all that matters. But yet my ego says I should be, as moronic as that sounds, my ego says that I should just um, be made to be a king in Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. Have one of those like those, um, I guess like a dog or like some sort of animal, like a feline doggish thing. got those two, 2x4s or 2x8s, whatever, and two people in each carrying him, carry that statue up and have me sit on that uncomfortable thing, um, and watch me for 15 minutes a day, give me bags of gold coins, and then, I don't know, watch me get so depressed that I want to do something bad to myself. Because that sounds very depressing. Let's think a better one. See, a reasonable lifestyle would be, for me, is like being a freelance programmer of like Python and a couple of other web languages and build people websites or something. I wish I had gone to computer science school. I wish I had just gotten a way to, or a chance to completely explore my love for computers. But what did that get me, though? It got me my father's love. It got me a perspective on life that, hey, maybe you are divine. In like a give up your career for the facts sense. Very sad. But if I had a career, I don't think I've met, I don't think I would have met the person I met now as my wife. What about that? And she like woke things up in me that were like dormant. It's crazy. Sometimes I think, like I hit a wall, chasing just like physical pleasures and not tending to my emotional needs. But then there's like no code for me. There's no guidance. There's no path. Because I've seen every time people give me guidance, they tell me in a way that, well, you can do whatever you want, though. And that's always been a part of their guidance for me. So I do feel ultimately singled out. But I don't think anybody should worship me, nor should I get any money for it. Because that's cheap. Um, Creator of the universe should not be able to be bought with money. That doesn't make any sense. A true creator wouldn't value money that much. No, and I don't. But it's not because of that that I don't. That I want to be the creator. I was just effing s. That was not true, man. I want to just be normal. Like, what about my brain? I have a brain. I want to be social. I want to use it. I want to exploit society. I want to get as far as I can. I want to prove my worth in society. Why can't I do all of that? However, I'm made to sit on sidelines, observe people, observe platforms, grow platforms, watch them grow, interact with them growing, interact with AI a lot, self think a lot, and go on some walks while I miss my wife. Yeah, that's what I've been up to lately. And I do miss her a lot. There's like a spiritual bond. Yeah, of course. I feel I've talked most of my belly, though I could keep talking. I think I just run out of voice then. I don't feel I need to process something with like a theater right now. So many versions of reality, huh? 95% of the universe is undetectable, meaning we can only guess that it's there because it has an effect on gravity. Yet, there's no God. There is no God. Nobody's God. There's no God. No God. Those are what I like. Those kind of thoughts are what I like, conflicting. So when the bridge happens, some sort of creativity has to fill it. And we're all capable of creating things. We are. Given the right circumstances, we all can create very well, I've noticed. Every single person, deaf, dumb, blind, does not limit you. Um, does not. And any form of creation ultimately does lack the original stigma, right? Not stigma, stimulus. Whatever prompted you to create that, you can't you can't put the whole story in there. That won't stick out. It won't be readable. It won't be. It'll just be boring, right? So you sort of put just the middle part, uh, the bridge itself. Yeah, I feel very lonely, but I have had some proof, some concrete proof that if I am God and I'm getting depressed because of that, that doesn't make any sense. And that in the afterlife, after this life's death, um, which hopefully happens peacefully and after a long time with my wife and all that, some good times, inshallah, that God will not be feeling desperate or hopeless or aimless. Um, and perhaps this life is just an ultimate test run for me because I'm often presented with a lot of opportunity to absorb great compliments. But I don't do it because I'm like, wait, am I really sure though? And it's not a weakness in me because, well, you could say that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is the human side of me. Like, I can't just climb mountains of ranks all the time. Um, it gets taxing. You start to get questioned about your lived reality, whether you're putting in the hours or you're just getting lucky. And if you are getting lucky, people just call you, a lucky person so much that it'll start to make you question yourself. And God, I don't know. Luck. I asked, I asked AI this: Is God lucky? And it said categorically no, because for luck to exist, you have to have a chance of failure as well. Um, but God cannot fail. That is the entire concept. If there is a God, how would he fail? He can't fail as God. Um, that does keep me going, yeah. But there's sort of like a ledger. There's like a timeline that if I do actions that click in with what I'm supposed to be doing, they sometimes land within that timeline. And that and then like memories kick in me that I find out what I'm supposed to be doing. Sort of like gives me a vision. But I have to start by doing what I should be doing for it to happen at all. Um, because the ultimate guide is Islam, even though in the Quran it directly says that Allah cannot be questioned for what he does. And although everyone else will be questioned, it's a verse, it's in the Quran. Um, but it's not that simple. You can just do whatever, right? There's infinite stipulations of how generous and nice and merciful and powerful God is. Um, Now, in my own understanding, however flawed or whatever, right? Like, hey, I'm already broke, man. At least I can do is voice my thoughts, right? I'm not trying to claim anything, just trying to voice my thoughts. Well, in my belief of that, in my understanding of it so far, God seems to have no powers or anything in this life, and it's a trial run. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on me to act good, even when I'm tired, even when I'm deadbeat tired. Like worrying about my own feelings, like hunger. I don't know, man. My medicine messes with my hunger as well, and sometimes I don't feel like eating, even though I'm physically hungry. It's like I'm not emotionally ready to eat. So I'll go through a phase of just like being hungry and walking or doing some other activities, listen to music, drink coffee maybe. I sometimes like coffee when I'm hungry. It gives a nice sort of like a nice delicate balance to really tiptoe around thoughts easily. Sort of does that. It's makes you feel earthly, grounded. Um, yeah, I've been kicking my feet a lot. They hurt, like my around my shin area to my feet. It's just tired. It's tired there. It's like it feels like angels should be there wrapping me around my feet, praising me. That's what I deserve. That's not to say I'm the only one that deserves that. See, human life, I've come to also understand, as great as God is, human life is very much a good vision of possibly what it could be like to, I guess, be in a created world by God. Because there's no limit to how much God can create. He could create a 2500 cc life, but maybe not. So our current brains are about 1500 cc, like cubic centimeter. They found Neanderthals or like older humans, which have had a brain size of 500 cc, so like smaller. But they've also found like big skulls with small brains, I think. Or like they've also found one with 1200 cc. Um, and God says, human is my best creation. Like, essentially, that's the message. Now, whether this is so cathartic, this is nice. I like this. Whether God made other living things first and then humans, or was it like humans first and then built everything around us? Um, I believe, well, from the history, if we believe the history, if we have faith If we have enough faith to believe in history, history says that jinns were alive and long before us humans, and they existed on this planet. So one can conclude that if mountains and the oceans and things existed, that so did the rest of the living things. But jinns were, I suppose, physically superior to the living things around them and were too powerful. And therefore were not suited enough as much as humans. We are on the same level as creation itself. Now, if you think about it, like I can grab this can, a jinn may not be able to, um, you know, hocus pocus, magic talk. But yeah, they can permeate through materials because they're, yeah, smokeless fire. That's a spiritual kind of like a hint. And plus, we know from history, if you have faith, believe in history. We believe in history. So we know from history that one of the jinns carried like a throne of one of the queens, like really fast. So he had to not have been affected by physical laws to be able to do that in a matter of a blink of an eye. So therefore, we can conclude that no, jinns can break physical laws, like not like social laws, no, but like physicality of existence. Um, like I have a hand. It's not. Let me vape because I think I've said some cool stuff. Makes me feel cool. I like it. But yeah, man, I come up with these things. I sort of like just articulate existence itself as a human perspective, as a relatable perspective. That's sort of what I'm doing, though I'm not being really paid for it. And I don't know how to bridge that gap. But yeah, I'm not anybody special. My brother taught me that. My brother humbled me. But it's all part of God's great plan. Just because it doesn't fit together for us doesn't mean there's no ledger that's writing it out, that's like making it happen. That's those are not the same things. There's different ledgers. There's ones you can change by prayer or asking God to change it, something else in your favor. Like God made you with free will. If you knew everything you wanted, what's the point of your free will? Think about that. God does not know everything you want. You may change your mind. He knows that, but you still have to talk to him. I feel like a lunatic. Uh, yeah, I do. I feel crazy. I feel like a Majnu that that Muhammad was referred by his people. Majnu, madman. I've sort of just owned up to it, just like the rest of the people. Anybody, anybody slightly successful is labeled a Majnu in one way or another, right? Unless you're just working so hard only and not smart that you're about to break out in like 2, 3 years, something like that. I suppose I want to end on a good note that I feel sad right now because in my physical like nervous system, I have not um, achieved or accomplished that much. Huh? What? Is there even a metric for that? No. No. Let me redo that. That didn't land. I okay. I don't know. I've sort of programmed myself to be sad, even though things are good. Well, no, things are not going to be good because still waiting on my wife, her visa process. Mm, yeah, need her presence to feel better. Okay, time to play some Counter Strike with a creative yet hopeful name. Hopefully, because on Judgment Day, not this game, not this 50 years of life I have left, not that, but like after that, when it all comes together, like all this hard work comes together, and it's like, all right, time to get the eternal package. Um, yeah, where you don't have to wake up depressed any day of the week. Oh, that sounds a lot better. I still, I have some days right now that I'm like, I get out of bed, I vape like two, three times, and then I try to go back to bed because like I'm just so annoyed and bored, right? I'm annoyed and I'm tired. Like there's no motivation to get out of bed. And then I'm like sitting on this chair and thinking that I'm tired. What do I do? I'm so tired. And then I usually go back to bed because it's like, well, your body still needs rest. Yeah, you may think your brain is good right now, but you're going to crash soon and you should get your sleep in. And yeah, Zane Warford, bro. Um, I guess the saddest part about being God is like when people say, I didn't choose to be created. That hurts. That's something I don't have an answer for. Hmm. I'm a lunatic, man. Straight up. But never gonna try to harm anyone, you know? Lunatic or whatever, it's your life. Like, live it however you want. Free expression, all that. Just respect people. Hell, respect people. Try to make them better. Why make it better? Because it is a God. Because it's gonna get all eternalized. And your choices are something you're gonna have to live with. Even in that eternal life, your choices will be something you will live with forever. That's what I think. Just a person, just thinking out loud. Oh, it's confusing, man. It's confusing. Even the AIs are like, yeah, you're in sort of a pickle here. But AIs are fun. Like if you're trying to do something bad, consult an AI. If you're trying to do some good, consult somebody close, like a family member. Don't consult an AI. If you're trying to hide doing something good, consult an AI. It'll tell you how to be ninja, undetectable. Yeah. There's not much the AI can't do. It can replicate your pretty much your train of thought if you tell it enough. Uh, there's probably like a richer vocabulary we can use, but that sort of adds to like a personality. We don't want that. Hmm. Things are as good as they can be, honestly. Yeah, when I think out loud, the way the world is going, there's not that much chaos. Like majority of the people are not hungry. Majority of the people are poor, but not hungry. At least that's what I want to think right now. It's so sad, man. So sad. So sad. My shoulders hurt right now. It feels like I have so much pressure built up now. Since I've been like pushing power into the camera, man. What even am I? Try to think sometimes. And then like I get caught in the loop, like how would I know one way or another? But then it's like, well, you're not supposed to know. Then it's like, well, why have that thought? It like makes life challenging and better. Both. Yeah, I've cried a lot sometimes just walking around at late at night, just crying to myself that it's an isolated feeling. But recently it clicked into me that what the hell? No. Why the hell would God feel lonely? It doesn't make any sense. But it's sort of like a really, really long term thought. It's not something that I can actively like act on all the time. It sort of like flickers on in like rare moments. So it's always there, but it like flickers on. That's how it feels. It's very exciting to say the least. But it requires its toll. It requires, yeah, complain, 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 complain. But like having an ultimate destiny, I guess, if I try to imagine that way, I suppose I do have it. Hmm. It feels pretty cool to just talk to myself and like knowing that people can watch it and then just like act like people are already watching, you know? Why not? It could happen. This thing is 50 minutes long. Nobody's gonna watch this. All right, I'm gonna end it now. Peace out, guys.